Hello and welcome to the SheerLuxe Show. I'm Charlotte Collins and I'm back with another great show from spring fashion to interiors to beauty and tips on how to challenge yourself. It's all here. First, to coincide with that first glimpse of sunshine and the change of season, Lou is here, giving us her take on the stylish staples you need for your spring wardrobe. From layering pieces to accessories, she has you covered. Earlier this week, Georgie sat down with Bonita Norris, who previously held the record for being the youngest British woman to ever climb Everest. In light of International Women's Day on Monday, she shares how to challenge the status quo and push yourself and others to achieve exactly what you want. It's fascinating stuff. Later, interior designer Roxi Zeeman gives us a tour of her home and shares her unmissable tips and tricks for how to approach each room in your house, from the kitchen to the dining room. Plus, it's the most hotly anticipated collaboration of the year. Simone Rocha has joined forces with H&M for a collection that launches next week, and we have an exclusive preview of all of our favourite pieces. Finally, Becky is here to talk us through the 3 hottest products for your lips right now. You won't want to miss it. So let's get started and see what Lou has picked for her spring designer unboxing.
Spring is just around the corner. If you are sick of your sweats and your trackies and your chunky knits that you've been living in through the longest winter ever and you are after a little bit of a wardrobe refresh, Harvey Nichols is the place to go. I have picked up some of my favourite pieces from the new collection and I cannot wait to show you them. So up first is this amazing blouse from Isabel Marant Etoile. I am not normally one for colour, but if I do, then lilac really is a tone I think that really suits everyone. If I come up closer, you can see it's got like a real blush pink, kind of a cornflower blue, a lilac, and then almost a navy as well. So it's actually some really nice colours that you can pick up in the rest of your outfit. I love this with a light wash denim. Acid wash is everywhere this season. That would look great. White jeans are gonna look cool, and even kind of going into autumn winter, you could definitely wear this with a black or a darker wash. Fab piece, really pretty, lovely colour, an easy injection of colour without feeling too bold. The next piece is this blazer from Low Classic. Oh my God, this is amazing. This is the kind of blazer that you will have in your wardrobe. I think this shape, it just feels so modern. It's a really lovely colour beige that's gonna, again, go with everything in your wardrobe. Great with those ribbed vests that are everywhere at the moment. Really cool, again, over denim. You could definitely wear that over a dress with skirts, a really lovely layer. It will add a real touch of that sort of androgynous cool to a feminine look. And oh, I just think that is amazing. Next piece I want to show you is this cardigan from Totem. Totem really is one of the biggest cult brands of the moment. Very minimal, very kind of streamlined capsule wardrobe, all about your elevated basics. And oh, what more can I say about this amazing cardigan? It's got these really big voluminous sleeves. It's a longer line, slightly A-line, so a really, really flattering shape, and it's thick. I mean, let's not get carried away. Even though it's going to be 15 degrees, there's still a breeze in the UK. We always get cold, so having a really beautiful layer like this that is elegant and sophisticated, and I just absolutely love this. Obviously it is an investment for a cardigan, but I think it's going to make those pieces feel that little bit cooler when you wear it. And again, a really great neutral colour to go with everything. This Zimmermann, I mean, if ever you want a beautiful feminine statement piece, then doesn't get much better than Zimmermann. I mean, look at those amazing lace details. Just stunning. Again, it is an investment, but this is the type of thing that will just live on in your wardrobe. Beautiful details kind of all throughout. The most beautiful blouse to wear on holiday if we ever get to, but equally just great around the house in your jeans. Next up, if you are bored of your trackies but you're not quite ready to take the plunge into your jeans, then these might be the trousers for you. These are from Nanushka, again, another cult brand of the moment, and these are amazing. Again, there's sort of a lilac-y blush tone, silk satin trousers with pockets, just super comfy, really easy to wear around the house. Great when you're going on your walks. Lovely colour to dress up. Again, so nice with all the tones that I've got here. Whites, blushes, you know, a light denim, greys. Really, really beautiful and elegant, and just so great to have that piece that is really comfortable and slouchy, but also really elegant and chic. You totally see these on holiday. Hair swept back with a body, with some amazing earrings. Just super versatile actually, and I just love the colour on shape on those. Slightly different vein now. I know I've been talking about dressing up, but let's not all forget how comfy our tracksuits are. But if you are going to wear trackies and sweats, make them luxe. This is from 7 Days Active, and oh my god, it looks so comfy. It has got fleecing on the inside, which I always look to when buying a sweatshirt. I just love that cozy feeling. It's a great grey. Greys come in, as we know, a lot of different shades, and that's a really nice light wash. It's going to go with everything, you know, even if you were pairing it with these, what a nice way to sort of dress up this and make this a little bit more casual. But this is amazing. It's £110, so it is a little bit more pricey than your standard sweatshirt, but let's talk about cost per wear. This is going to be great. Final piece of clothing I want to show you is this jacket from Isabel Marant. Have you ever seen anything so fab? It is obviously a chunky layer. It's obviously got this really warm lining in it, but it's the UK, remember, it's still cold. We're not in summer yet. So if you want that chic layer to go on all your lovely spring walks, but you don't want to be wearing a puffer, you want something a little bit more elevated, then this is the jacket for you. I love, again, this acid wash denim, and it's got these puff details, which are so synonymous with Isabel Marant and her line. It's got amazing pockets here. It's just so cool. You could definitely lift the collar up and fold that over. You could belt it. I just think if you're after a statement jacket that you're still gonna wear it this time of year, then that is it. Piece of jewelry I want to show you is these amazing earrings from Kenneth J. Lane, and what's really cool about them is that they are detachable, so you can wear them like this, or you can unhoop them and then just wear them as a single small hoop. But I like them big. I think go statement, as I said. I think with your jewelry right now, as bold as you can definitely works. The easiest way to add impact to your look is with some fabulous extra chunky gold jewelry. Finally, I want to show you a couple of pairs of shoes. Nothing beats a great box fresh pair of white trainers. And I feel like the beginning of the season is the time to reinvest. Check these out from Axel Arigato. They're not super new. They've been around for a while, but I just had to show you them because I think if you're not really buying heels, you want comfortable shoes, again, all those walks, but you still want to look cool and fresh, then these are great. I love the color. Obviously you've got the white, a really soft gray around the toe, and is that a navy or is that a black? I'm gonna go with navy just down the side. Really easy to pair with everything in your wardrobe. A little bit more of a sort of a tennis shoe style. Not super, super chunky, but still they've got a bit of a heel. So all in all, I just think a great trainer for everyone. Then finally, probably the piece that's been on my wish list for the longest out of everything, these white cream Gucci Princetown loafers. Again, these are not new, but they are just such a fab investment for spring. I mean, the color, again, box fresh. I have got these in red, and again, they will go with absolutely everything. Again, everything on this rail I would pair these shoes with. Super easy, when you're around the house, you just want to throw on a pair of flats, but again, still feel cool and comfortable. I was asked recently actually whether the Gucci loafers were still a worthy investment, and the answer is 100% yes. They are a timeless classic that are going to live on in your wardrobe and make your wardrobe work hard for you. Whenever you are buying a designer piece, it needs to go with multiple things in your wardrobe, and I really think this selection from Harvey Nicks is proof. They really do have one of the best buys out there. So if you were looking for some new season inspiration, then I hope that has helped. I know certainly there are a few more things on my wish list now.
Thank you, Lou. That was so good. Harvey Nichols literally have all of the best brands, and I want everything. Now, it's International Women's Day on Monday, and we're marking the occasion over the coming days by talking to some of the most inspirational women out there. Earlier this week, Georgie sat down with Bonita Norris, who has held the record for being the youngest woman to ever climb Everest at the age of 23. She's overcome many challenges in her life and explains to Georgie what motivates her to keep challenging herself and how failure drives success. But first, Becky is showing us her favourite new lip products right now.
Hi everybody, I'm Rebecca Hull, SheerLuxe's beauty editor, and today I am going to be sharing with you 3 of my new favourite lipsticks. My first pick is Charlotte Tilbury's brand new Hyaluronic Happy Kiss Balms. Now, they come in so many suits all shades, and the kind of balmy texture means you can literally just apply these on the go. You don't even need a mirror, they're so easy to apply. I've got the shade Pillow Talk on, but as I said, they come in some gorgeous nudes, suits all pinks, and some rich colours too. Brimming with hyaluronic acid for hydration, and also peptides to give you that kind of plumpness that even if you haven't got it, it looks like you have it because it just fakes it for you. They're really glossy, high shine, and brilliant for a kind of low maintenance lip look, which is what we're all tapping into right now. My next pick is Kiko's Ray of Love lipstick in number 7. It is a really rich red, as you can see, quite vampy, but actually you can kind of mute this down. That's obviously quite pigmented, but you can see you can take it down a notch as well if you want something a bit knocked back and not too full on. It's a really creamy formula despite it being a matte, so it goes the distance but it never feels stripping. It's quite hydrating still as well, and it's just got the best pigment, and it's affordable. If you've never tried Kiko products, they are brilliant if you're on a budget. Last but definitely not least is Dior's Rouge Velvet Lipstick in 999. This was actually recommended to me by a makeup artist as quite a suits all red. It's quite tomatoey, but it is also very flattering, and again you can wear this any way you like. You can mute it down a little bit with your finger, but the real standout for me is it's a new velvet texture from Dior, and it just allows you to kind of go a little bit outside your lip line for a fuller finish and more sort of soft focus effect that's very on trend right now. What's more, despite it being a matte, it's incredibly hydrating with sheer butter inside, so you can really move it with your lips still. It doesn't feel dry or cakey, and it stays in place for hours. Those were my top 3 lipstick picks this week. I hope you enjoyed them. As always, do check out the site for more beauty products, reviews and tips.
Now, as you may or may not know, it's International Women's Day on Monday, and the theme this year is Let's Choose to Challenge. To choose to challenge inequality, call out bias, question stereotypes, and help forge an inclusive world. And to celebrate that, I am really excited to chat to Bonita Norris, author of The Girl Who Climbed Everest, and the youngest person to reach both the summit of Everest and the North Pole, aged 23. Welcome, Bonita. It is lovely to be with you remotely. You're looking so glamorous and not at all like a mountaineer.
Thank you, Georgie. It's such a pleasure, but also terrifying to be on the SheerLuxe Show. I've been like plucking and straightening and doing everything because I don't look like this normally, I promise you.
Well,
but, yeah.
I am totally in awe of everything you've achieved. I've listened to several podcasts with you on. I'm clutching your book, which I'm longing to read. I mean, I know the story. For people listening, what on earth made you want to climb Everest? You are the youngest British woman to have climbed Everest. You climbed it at 22. How and why?
Well, actually, I'm not the youngest anymore. I have been beaten by 3 amazing young women now, so they might be listening to this. But the reason I wanted to climb it was I went to a lecture when I was about 20 years old, and it was about climbing Everest, and I got dragged to it. I didn't want to go. But the 2 climbers that had been up the mountain, they described how they'd seen the curvature of the earth from the summit, and I just thought that was the most incredible thing. And this fire just ignited, and I knew that that was what I wanted to do with my life.
And had you been somebody that was always up for the challenge? Were you always looking for ways to challenge the norm? Because climbing Everest is not the norm. Plus, you were a woman doing it. Have you always had that in you?
No, I think for me it was a very personal challenge. I just wanted to go and this is the most cheesy phrase, but I wanted to go and live my best life, if you know what I mean. I did it for me. I wanted to get to the end of my days thinking I did the best I could with the time I had here, and Everest was so much a part of that. It was like, what's the best thing that you can do on planet Earth? And for me personally, that was go to the top of the world. And so it wasn't about anyone else. It was just about this inner drive.
And how did you motivate yourself to prepare? I mean, it's sort of 2 years, isn't it, to prepare to climb Everest? I know you struggled initially to find a sponsor. Mm-hmm. How did you keep going without a sponsor in the bag? 'Cause I think that happened quite soon to going, didn't it? So how did you keep going? How did you motivate yourself? That must have been pretty tough.
Well, so I had to find like £50,000 just to climb Everest 10 years ago, and I didn't have 2 pennies to rub together. So the only way to do it was to find a corporate to sponsor me. And 2 years of like making phone calls and got absolutely nowhere. Didn't give up, and the month before we were due to leave for the mountain, like literally the deadline for the payment was the next day, and I finally got a sponsor. So there are so many reasons why I didn't give up. Mostly it was just due to the fact that when I was that close, I would think, what am I giving up on? And it was seeing the curvature of the earth from the top of the world. And when you compare that to, I just can't be bothered to go on another training session, I can't be bothered to make another sponsorship phone call, it just paled in comparison. And I think keeping that kind of perspective was really important, always reminding myself of the bigger picture. But so many things motivated me. I had an Everest playlist of music. It was just whatever you need in that little moment that you're in that rut that you're in, you have different tools to get you out of it. So it was visualization, music, going climbing, being out in nature, getting time to process what was going on. Motivation is really, complex. I know that from my years of forcing myself to do difficult things.
And what about being a woman setting out to do something like this? I mean, I don't know what the split is of male to females who have climbed Everest. I assume that females are not the biggest percentage. Did you face a lot of challenges in that respect?
So there are multiple hundreds of British men that have climbed Everest. I think it might be coming on to 300, but there are only around 25 women. So it's a huge disparity. And if I'm really honest, and I feel very differently today about how I felt 12 years ago when I started climbing, I didn't see it as a man-woman thing. I just wanted to climb. And I saw the guys as friends, as people. But on reflection, when I look back, I think of some of the sexist comments that I got, asking to help out with some ropes or sort some equipment out and being told to just sit there and look pretty. There's absolutely no understanding at all that women have things on the mountains like periods and things like that. You have to just deal with it like you're a bloke, basically, like any women's issue does not exist. And I kind of got on with it because I think sort of 10, 12 years ago, that was what we all did. But I think now it's really different. And I look back and I cringe a lot at some of the experiences I've had. And a lot of it was so nuanced and kind of unconscious as well. Today, if I was going to go on a climbing trip, I would never want to climb with just men. I'd always want to try and find a woman on that team because it's such an ego environment. It's so macho, and it's just really boring after a while.
I really want you to come on a podcast and tell us the whole story about your progression to base camp and then to the summit. But I mean, we haven't got massive time now, but can you just sum up what it was like, how hard it was? Did you ever want to give up that 24-hour climb? What's it called? In the death zone. you had a nasty fall. I mean, can you share a couple of snippets with everyone watching today?
Yeah, so base camp on Everest is like 5,300 meters, and that's our home for 6 weeks while we climb the mountain. And up at that point, there's already only 50% of the oxygen in the atmosphere that we have at sea level. So already you're in a danger zone, really. You can die at that height, and that's our base. By the time we get to the summit, we've only got 30% of the oxygen available that we have at sea level. So you're dealing with hypoxia, with extreme altitude sickness. Your brain can swell, your lungs can swell. And that's just that side of things. That's why we call it the death zone when we get really up high. And the 24-hour climb that we do is non-stop, climbing through the night and through the day to reach the summit in the death zone, breathing on tanks of oxygen. So we're dressed up like these astronauts on planet Earth. And when you're at that high, it's difficult to take more than about 4 steps in a row without having to stop and have a break. And if you think about that now, you could walk across your living room, no problem. But just to take 4 steps and be absolutely exhausted. I remember falling asleep standing up, and I had quite a nasty fall, basically, just on the way down from just not having as much energy as I should have done. But you get through it. Today I look back and I think, I can't believe we dealt with minus 25, 30 degree temperatures in the death zone. You just learn to be resilient, and you realize that the more you push your body, the more it can push back. But for sure, every day you're living on edge, avalanches, crevasses, high winds, and always there is a problem going on. Another person on another team might be in an accident, might die. So death always feels very close. And there's no rescue. If something goes wrong, there's no helicopter coming to pick you up. So you feel like you're having this really dangerous experience completely cut off from the rest of the world. It's crazy, but it was the best experience of my life. I mean,
it blows my mind. It's as scary as all the films, right?
Yeah, and then some, I think.
You've gone on to climb other mountains. Which climb have you enjoyed the most? Have you got the most from?
It was actually a climb I did 2 years after Everest. It was to get to the top of the world's 4th highest mountain, which doesn't exactly sound like that great. It's the 4th highest.
Wow.
But the reason that it was so important to me was because I'd climbed Everest, but I'd also made loads of mistakes on that mountain, like falling. So I came back with just feeling like there'd been success, but there's also been failure. And I just wanted to use everything that I'd gotten wrong and where I'd failed to kind of drive me to do better. So when we got to the top of this other mountain 2 years later, I felt like I'd put into practice everything that I'd learned. All the failure had now been turned into this even bigger success. And it was just the most spectacular feeling to reach the summit and just be hit in the face by the sunrise and see, the curvature of the earth beneath your feet, and realize that you've come so far from making silly mistakes on the previous mountain.
So I know you're going to say yes, but you are someone who really believes in failures driving success. Can you elaborate on that in light of International Women's Day next week and the theme being to challenge? Yeah. How would you suggest people channel those failures into success and into challenging themselves to get out of their comfort zones and try new things and live their best lives?
Such a cheesy quote, but it's true.
I know, but it works,
I
right?
would say it's a big opportunity actually to fail, because it shines a light on a weakness that you have, and that's a fantastic piece of information. So use it to your advantage. In life, we often think about going from strength to strength. We get better at things we're good at. We like to focus on perfecting things we're already good at, but that's not where you improve. You improve by going from weakness to strength. And for me, my biggest successes in the mountains have been from turning something I'm really crap at, that I'm actually have a reputation for being bad at doing, and turning that into something that I then have a reputation for being the best at doing. That is so empowering. And we can all do that, whether it's like you have that thing about Excel and I hate it. Well, become really good at it. It will change your life. And it like, I know that's a small thing, but the small things tend to have the biggest impact on us.
Does that mean that if I'm really crap at singing and I really keep practicing, then I still might get into the Spice Girls?
Sorry, Georgie, if you're no, I don't think it works.
That's a genetic condition I can't change.
There obviously is like a line where like talent comes into it, and I think there was an element of talent for me in the mountains, very small amount. But for most of us, we tend to focus on changing something massive in our lives. But actually, if you just focus on those small little things, that's where you make that's what adds up really to something like reaching the summit of Everest. It is hundreds of, if not thousands, of small things every day that you do that end up, leading you to the top of the world.
And I love that. I heard you say that on a podcast, that it is the small steps that lead to achieving a big goal. And I think for people watching, looking for some motivation, it is about changing one thing, heading to the first camp and then the second and then the third. And then before you know it, you're on your knees at the top of Everest and you've nailed it. You're a motivational speaker. I can see why, Bonita. You're clearly very gifted in that respect. You're also a mother. How have you changed, before we finish, how have you changed your view of being an adventurer since you've become a mother? Do you still long to climb, to mountaineer?
I do, but also I can't help it. I feel very strongly that I don't want to leave my daughter, not because I'm afraid of dying, but more just don't want to leave her, 6 weeks while I'm on a mountain. It's a massive chunk of her life. So there is this debate in climbing now around, if men can go and leave their kids, why can't women? And women have done, and women have died leaving small children behind. And but so have men. Is it any worse for a mother to go than it is for a father? But for me, it's a personal thing. I love climbing, but I also feel very responsible for my child. So we'll see. I never say never.
I think it's such an interesting point. Why are you more selfish if you're a mother doing it than a man? Anyway, that's a whole other conversation. Yeah. One that I think is so interesting. I know you attempted K2. Do you have an itch to try that again?
It depends what time of the day or like what mood I'm in when you ask me. When I would love it. I mean, K2 is one of the deadliest mountains on the planet. It's the mountain that they say is cursed towards women. Like there's so much dogma surrounding that peak, so much mystery. And when I actually went there, I just was like, wow, this is all rubbish. I mean, this mountain is beautiful. It's amazing. All of this stuff that we as humans put onto it is just a load of rubbish. There's no reason why I couldn't climb this. But unfortunately, I did attempt it in 2016 and I got altitude sickness. So I had my ass handed to me. So I left, but could I get to the top? I'm sure, absolutely. Would I risk it with my daughter? I don't know. I think risk is massively linked to your identity, really. Like what you choose to risk in life comes down to who you think you are. And am I more a mountaineer or am I more a mother? That's the question that I've kind of got to answer myself before I make a decision like that.
Be nice to be able to be both, wouldn't it? Bonita, I have loved chatting to you. Before we finish, some parting words of wisdom for women in light of International Women's Day and the Challenger theme.
Oh gosh, so much. Just don't take any crap from any guys. Like we're told we're the weaker sex. I've climbed Everest and all these other mountains with men, having to deal with all the other stuff on top that we deal with as women every day. I don't know if it's controversial to say, but I just think we're way stronger. And we should remember that. We should remember that because there are incredible women in mountaineering and in the business world, everywhere that you look, and we tend to just get on with stuff. And we don't always look for recognition for it, but that doesn't mean that we're not putting in a lot more effort behind the scenes than guys are.
Agreed. We're only just getting started. And we were only just getting started. Please, will you come back and do a podcast? I want to hear more about your climbs. I am totally in awe. I haven't read it yet because it only arrived yesterday and I'm very slow at reading these days. But Bonita's book, The Girl Who Climbed Everest, is available to order at Amazon. It is right up my street. I know I'm going to really enjoy this, and I've really enjoyed chatting. Thank you so much, Bonita. Happy International Women's Day, and I hope
Happy International Women's Day.
Bye.
Feels nice to say that, right?
So nice to say that. Thank you for joining us.
Welcome back. Wow, I am so inspired. What an incredible attitude to life Bonita has. Coming up shortly, interior designer Roxi Zeeman is giving us a tour of her home and including a bunch of professional tips and tricks to elevate every room. But first, I was lucky enough to get my hands on the Simone Rocha and H&M collaboration launching next week and wanted to give SheerLuxe viewers a preview of the very best styles. So get ready to fill your online baskets on Thursday morning.
Hi everyone, I'm Roxi from Soop Interiors, and I'd like to show SheerLuxe some of my favourite design techniques and styling tips I've used around my home. Welcome to my living room. So I have 5 absolute must-dos when designing your living room. Number 1 is, before investing in any high-ticket item, make sure you've drawn a floor plan. So whether that's just by hand, using a little ruler, you can do it to scale. Just make sure that the proportions work, that you've still got some easy flow in and out of the room, because once you've bought that investment piece, it's a pain in the backside to send it back. Rule number 2 is the small rug syndrome. My absolute pet hate. Don't buy a rug too small. Your rug should at least fit both ends of your furniture on, should be touching it. That's going to ground it all and just create such a wonderful space. Rule number 3 is the showroom effect. Make sure you mix it up with a little bit of high street, a little bit of vintage, a little bit of bespoke where possible. There is nothing worse than walking into a room that looks like you've opened a catalogue and said, right, that's it, I'll order everything on this page, and it's all samey. Rule number 4 is shop your own home. This standing lamp behind me, I'd actually purchased for my TV room, and it sat there for a while. I liked it, but one day I was bored and I had a play around, and it's absolutely perfect there, and that's where it's going to stay. Rule number 5 is don't be afraid of DIY. This ottoman that I'm sitting on here was once upon a time cream. I picked up some of this fabric at a sale at a local fabric shop. I ordered a staple gun online, and I'd never done anything like it before, but I hashed it out and it looks fab, and I'm really happy with it.
Right, I'm going to attempt to film this with the little one in here. This is Coco's nursery. Let's see how it goes. So I really love this space. I've filled it with organic and natural materials, try to keep it lovely and soft and calm in here. That's a little vintage chair that I picked up at a vintage market, which I adore. I used IKEA spice racks. That one's turned upside down to hang our little dresses on. And then our cot, which has been such a winner, is the Moki mini cot in the birch and white finish. In a few months' time, we'll convert it to a junior bed for her. And I've added in a canopy over there for height that comes from Scandibone. And this lush bamboo pendant is one I designed in Vietnam. So overall, a really calm, functional space for our little one.
So this is my wonderful little light-filled studio where I work from home. When it comes to your work from home space, I guess first and foremost is that you've got everything that you need and it works. So in here I've got this lovely storage unit that comes from IKEA. I just really love the high gloss mushroomy coloured doors of this unit, and it was a fair price, so that works really well. And actually this lovely round table is also from IKEA, but in here I've mixed it with these jute dining room chairs that I designed a few years ago. These were made in India, and I have a little vintage unit on that side, which I'll show you just now, full of all my samples. So the goal here in the dining room is I want it to be a really casual, effortless space. I'm not going to fill it up or overdo it too much. I just want it to feel calm and easy. So let's go. So once you've styled any part of your house, always step back and have a look. Make sure you've got different heights there. Make sure that the little gaps are filled in. Once again, using different materials. So I've got different bits of wood, painted and raw. I've got dark and light. I've got leather. I've got ceramics. I've used books to create height, and then let art fill up the rest of those spaces. Another tip that I love to use is always to take a photograph of the space once you've finished, because it's amazing how your camera just allows it to put it in a nice frame, and then you can always see what the end result looks like and go back and make a few changes. Back here in our bedroom, and once again it's just a lovely mix of high street items, vintage items, and a couple of bespoke ones thrown in. My one absolute must for the bedroom is real linen bedding. To me it's a game changer, and it just gets better with age, and it just gives you that lovely relaxed feeling. The headboard was a headboard I designed when I had a homeware business based in India, so that's just a lovely piece that has come with me. The brass mirror over there is high street, that's from Zara Home, as is the little wall light is from La Redoute. The side table, that's a vintage piece that I updated with Farrow and Ball, London Stone I think the colour is, and then I bought the hardware from Anthropology. And that little chair is another piece I designed once upon a time, and I have a lovely landscape painting which is quite similar to what I can see outside the window that my mum's done. So that's it for the bedroom. I think in terms of tips, it's just best to keep it calm, keep it serene, keep it a place where you can come to and unwind at the end of the day. Alright guys, that's all from me today. I hope you've enjoyed seeing behind the scenes in my own home and some of the techniques and styling tips I've used. If you would like to follow along on my Instagram for some more tips, it's Roxi Zeeman. There's also a link to my website on there, soupdesign.co.uk, so that you can learn more about the e-design service or full interior design service I offer.
Thank you, Roxy. Such good tips. I'm quite keen to get my hands on a staple gun now. And I hope you all loved the Simone Rocha collection as much as I do. It is genuinely incredible. That's almost it for today, but last but not least, I wanted to share 3 things I'm loving right now. First up is the Hotel Magique collaboration with Anthropology. The two have teamed up for a gorgeous collection of interiors accessories, from cushions to jugs to paper, which is what the company itself is known for. They've all got French slogans on them, gorgeous little trimmings and little pretty details too. Whether you're after a small trinket or something more substantial, they have something lovely for your home right now. The second thing I'm loving is a brand called Maison Clio. They are a French mother-daughter duo who create all of their pieces from offcuts of other materials. I have a top here to show you. This is from an exclusive collection that they've done recently with Net-a-Porter. I'm afraid this is sold out, but it's so good I just had to show it to you. It is available in white online, and there is a matching skirt, which you can still get on Net-a-Porter too. I love it. It's made from the softest cotton. It's a bit risque. You need to do up the ties, obviously. It's a proper summer top. But I can't wait to layer this over denim jackets and knitwear and really make it work hard for me this summer. As I say, they do so many gorgeous pieces, which you will love. So I highly recommend checking them out for a sustainable option for summer dressing. The final thing I'm loving is A Rainy Day in New York. This is a Woody Allen film that came out in 2019, and it stars Timothée Chalamet, who I love, alongside an all-star cast including Selena Gomez, Elle Fanning and Jude Law. And it basically does what it says on the tin. Elle Fanning and Timothée Chalamet play a couple who head into New York for the day, and it's pouring with rain. And it's a lot more exciting than it sounds. Timothée Chalamet plays a real Woody Allen-inspired character. There's romance, there's comedy, and if you're missing New York and you're missing traveling, it will give you that fix that you really need. So it's an hour and a half well spent, I'd say. All right, that's it for today. I hope you've enjoyed the show. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you to our wonderful guests, Bonita, Roxi, and of course, Lou and Becky. On the next show, Georgie will be back with a great high street denim haul. Lisa Potter-Dixon is talking us through her top 10 Charlotte Tilbury products, and there's lots more. In the meantime, we would love it if you could please comment below, give us a thumbs up, and do subscribe if you haven't already. Have a wonderful day wherever you are. Goodbye.